So let's do standard deviation. So we'll start with standard deviations. All right.
Yes.
All right. So where are we? Let's open up the book again. And that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 2, standard deviation. So you want me to jump straight away to standard deviation?
Yeah, that would be fine. Yes.
Okay, so we need to go to page number 98. Page 98. Alright, box plots.
Box plots is all, and can we also do box plot?
Do you want me to do box plots?
Yeah, after standard deviation.
Alright. Alright, standard deviation. This is box plot. You remember the 5-point summary?
No. Wasn't it the outliers?
Yeah. So let's do box plots first, right?
Okay.
All right, box plots. So there are three things that are important. There are few things that are important in the box plots. One is the center, and
Okay.
then the spread, which is we call the outliers, and the spread or the IQR and the possible outliers. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Now, if we go up, yep, box plots. So I am on page number 90 now. All right.
Okay.
All right.
90. Okay.
Page number 90. Okay. Now we're talking about the 5-point summary here. So for box plots, it is very important. We need to get into the 5-point summary in order to create any box plot. So what is that 5-point summary? The 5-point summary is the first is the minimum, the second is the maximum, and then you've got your Q1, which is your first quartile, then Q3 and the median. Okay, so these
min, max, Q1, Q3, medium.
Yeah. So this all represents the 5-point summary, and using the 5-point summary we create the box plot. So if I switch to my pen, so what we are saying here is that the 5-point summary tells us, number 1, the min, number 2 is the max, 3 is the Q1, 4 is Q3, and 5 is the median.
Yes.
5 is the median. How we draw the box plot is that on the number line, basically on the line, if you see, we've got a line here, right?
Okay.
On this,
Yes.
we mark a point which is min, we mark a point which is max, we mark Q1, we mark Q3, and we mark a median.
And then you find your median.
You mark your median. So what you do is, this box is actually between Q1 and Q3. Alright?
Okay.
And you draw the whiskers then, which are basically the lines that connect the box to the min and to the max. So these lines are called whiskers. Alright?
Okay.
And in that box, at the point where you have found the median, we draw a line. And hence, this becomes a box plot. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if you go to your book, again, page number 90, if you see example number 17 from your book.
Okay.
Now, it says that you've got some monthly rainfall figures for Melbourne from January to December.
Okay.
And the rainfall rates are there from 48 for January to 57 in February to 52 in March till December. Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
And you're already given the min, which is 48. You're given Q1, which is 49.5. You're given M, which is 57. You're given Q3, which is 59, and your max is 67. So you're given all the 5 points. So what you do is you draw sort of a number line. That's your first step. So which is, you see, your number line has to go from a minimum of 48 until 67. So I draw my number line slightly behind minimum. So I start from 45 and I end slightly ahead of maximum, which is 70. Okay. And then I mark my Q1s and the Q3s and I draw a box. So from Q1 equals to 49.5 to Q3 equals to 59, you draw that line. You draw those lines and connect and create a box here. Alright?
Okay.
And then you mark your median as 57 and you draw another line between the box. And then finally you draw your left whisker, which is your minimum whisker, and you connect it to 48 and you draw a line, draw a whisker towards the right, which connects you to 70, which connects you to 67, which is your right whisker, and
which
hence,
is your max.
Which is your max. And hence this creates the box plot.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay.
Now, when it comes to box plot, there's something called outliers as well. But in order to find the outliers, we need to calculate the upper and the lower fences. Now, what is upper fence and what is lower fence? Now, if you see here on page number 92, the upper fence is Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. And your lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 the IQR. So what we are trying to say here is that if you've got a box plot like this, at some point in time you will have these two gates, these two fences, and I call this as the lower fence
and upper fence.
And the upper fence. Any data value which is lower than the lower fence or higher than the upper fence is the outlier. So you see
Okay.
these 2 points that I've drawn here, they are marked as the outliers.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
got it? Now
Yep.
let's see this example 18. Now example 18 has given you some stuff. It's given you 13,
Okay.
the number of hours 33 students spend on each school project, and then you say correct, you find the box plot, right? Now min, max and medians are, min and max is easy to find, right? And median is easy
Yep.
to find as well, right? We know how median can be found.
Yes.
Right? The band middle value, right? So this is already in an increasing order, so median should be okay, right?
Yes.
Now, since again, just to reiterate, there are 33 students, so we need to do n plus 1 over 2. So that is the 17th value. So then 17th value is 71, and hence median is 71. Got it?
Okay.
And then you find your first quartile, and you find your second quartile. So I said, and your third quartile. Yes?
Okay.
The first quartile is basically exactly the median of the first half, which is Q3, and Q1, and Q3 is the median of the second half, which is the median of 25th
Yes.
and 26th value. Same way the way we have found medians, right? So we found
Yes.
we found Q1 and Q3 as well. And then when we subtract Q3 from Q1, so IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So when we subtract that, we found the IQR as 84. Yeah?
Yes.
Now if you see, your lower fence is Q1 times 1.5 of IQR. Your Q1 was 25.5, and 1.5 times your IQR was 84. You found that your lower fence is negative 100.5. See, lower fences could be negatives, okay? And the upper fences would be positive. Because, and why? Because Q1 is always less than the IQR, yes?
Yes.
And hence, the value of lower fence will always be negative. So you found two IQRs, and you sort of draw this graph, right? And then you start analyzing all the points here, all the data value here. So anything less than a negative 100 point, anything less than a negative 100.5 to a 235.5 is an IQR, is the outlier. So here we see 226 is not an outlier, but 264 is, because it's quite greater than 235.5, which is our upper fence, right?
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Sure? So that's why you
Yes.
see, the outlier is shown to you. Got it?
Yes.
All good. Just a sec. I think this is pretty much what I wanted to cover on the IQR. Where is it?